Hey, what's up, everybody? This is James with the Movement of Sustainable Salons here in New Jersey with my hair assistant, my wife, Angela, and obviously my partner in crimes on the East Coast. What's up, guys? How are you?
West Coast.
Well, we're on the West Coast.
Wow, sorry.
We're on the wrong coast mixed up there.
Sorry, it's been a morning of technical difficulties. But what's up, guys?
We're with you guys live from Mount Washington, and yeah, we have a little bit of an echo, so I didn't really try that here. But we are hopefully going to be on as much as we possibly can while the connection is still here.
That's good. Well, guys, good to see you as always. We're also welcoming our friend from Green Circle Salons, Brandy. Hey, Brandy, how are you?
Good morning. Good, thanks. How are you?
Very, very good. She's going to jump on at some point and give us a little bit of a background. Obviously, everyone knows that Green Circle is one of our sustainability partners and what we're working on here with the movement of sustainable salons. But, let's jump into some of the basics. For any of our new callers that are on here today or anybody that's watching a recorded video, we're using blab.im, which is either something that's built for the Mac or for iOS. You can download that to your iPhone or iPad through the App Store. You can also jump on that through Firefox or Google Chrome, and you can join us on these calls. If anything happens to anyone on the call and things start to fade out, you can always go to the salonmovement.com/live, and you won't be able to participate, but at least you can watch the live call. We've been doing this. This is the fourth call in a series for our kickoff month. Some of the basics you'll see I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. You guys tell me. It looks like this on my screen, but mute button, props button. Opposite? Okay. Yeah. So mute button, if you don't want to hear what Kurtis has to say, you can always mute him out. If you love what's going on, you can click and give props over there. You can see Angela's giving some props over to Green Circle and to Design House. But definitely happy to have everybody here. Kurtis, you want to give a quick overview of the movement for some new callers that are in?
Yeah, so this is really exciting because it's basically a grassroots movement of sustainable salons. We're really excited about the fact that Davines gave us this opportunity to kind of connect with everyone in the world with regards to just the sustainability movement. And we're going to be using this kind of low-tech option of Blab to be able to just get some really good information out there and to connect with salons to just as a cooperative co-invest in each other's success for sustainability in general. And for every salon that's out there, please make sure to put your information on the side for the comments on the right, and we'll do some promotion for you and your salon in this call. These calls are recorded, so they're available for replay, and the links afterwards, or you can go to the salonmovement.com/education, and we have all of our past webinars on there.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. We have done 3 calls in the past. The last call was in honor of George Washington's birthday. It was a little bit on leadership, accounting, and accountability. I will tell everyone that these calls, for the most part, the first few, have kind of touched on the 4 pillars of the movement and what we're working towards in terms of making salons more sustainable, not just in the eco sense, but in terms of keeping the doors open and their staff educated and all those good things. We're going to start to go more into a focused feature. So this particular call here today is going to be on marketing. So we had titled it The Davines Guide to Dating, hoping to get some people interested. But we're going to put up a marketing calendar and get into some real specifics about things that you can do in terms of promotions within the salon, some holidays and some national holidays and things through the North America region are going to resonate with Breast Cancer Awareness Month is obviously October. A lot of salons like to adhere to that because obviously most salon clientele or a good majority are going to be women, unless you're a barbershop or things. So there's always a takeaway. So, like any call that we do, I would say, I would encourage you to take one thing with you that you might be able to apply in your salon. Design House and the Beehive, we do a lot of crazy things sometimes because we can get away with it. I mean, we're super sustainable businesses and we have a really great cult following of clients that are really into the eco aspects of what we do. So We could put dirt in a bag and sell it and say it's going to plant your garden in the springtime, and our clients would be into it. But some of you other salons out there that are kind of just getting into the sustainable aspects of the environmentalism, you can take it all with a grain of salt. And, hopefully these are little things that'll help build and kind of help attach your salon to what the Davines brand actually is founded on. Not just the fact that they make great performance products and they're packaged really sweetly and all those things. But let's start everything off. Kurtis, the title of this call obviously is the Davines Guide to Dating. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's appropriate for what we're doing here?
Well, I think it's massive. First off, just in the fact that it's really important for salons developing a marketing calendar in general. It's something that we have struggled with in the past, in that we were kind of a little bit more reactive rather than proactive with regards to planning our events. So sometimes we would only just plan a month ahead or a few weeks ahead every month. But we really got into a habit of starting to plan out the whole year, and then we have like a 90% proactive stance with regards to what we're doing, planning. And then we can react to certain things that kind of come up as opportunities. And also it helps us because then we can go back and look at it and really do a analysis of how it went and be able to build on it from year to year to the next one.
I think it's really important to jot down some notes, like debrief after certain things on the marketing calendar. I mean, first of all, overcoming procrastination, sitting down, writing out some ideas, even if you just start with the months, right? It's really important to write things down, as we do in many things in life, whether it's, personal goals or career goals. When we write things down and we dream about it and visualize it, then we actually have a higher % chance of making it happen. So like Kurtis said, we're very reactionary. We had lots of great ideas. As the month's approaching, we're putting things into action. We're testing them. They seem like great things. You feel like this thing is selling well or this promotion's going well because we had a few people come in because of it. But the reality is numbers don't lie. So when I can actually write down and have tangible numbers on how things worked, I could say, hey, let's take this to the next level and, increase my productivity by 10 or 20% next time I do this particular event, rather than just assuming it went well. So, I guess just, working on your business as much as you're working in your business. It can be hard to sit down and write down goals. I realize there's always going to be a to-do list. No matter what, I always have things on that list. But sitting down and focusing on 3 of my most important priorities so that I can really focus on them well and decide the ones I don't need to focus on. They're out of my mind as far as feeling like the to-do list is too large to tackle. So prioritizing and writing things down, visualizing, and then debriefing is really huge.
A similar issue, and talking about going back over your calendar for the previous year and learning from what worked and didn't work with just dates of certain things. It's doing things a little bit too early. Our holiday bazaar that we do, which we'll touch into, I know we're not going up to December, but last year we did it surrounding different cultural holidays, and it was in November, and I just feel like we felt like it was too early and people weren't really involved in Christmas and New Year's and that kind of thing. So this year we learned from that and sort of pushed it up a little bit. So weather has a big thing to do with that too, because November here last year was like super warm, and so you're having this holiday boutique and it's like 60 degrees outside and people just couldn't connect with that feeling. So you have to be receptive to that and learn from that and then sort of change. So I think it's a good thing, like what Chantelle was saying, to write everything down and just keep track of everything year to year, because what works for one year might not work for the next.
Yeah, and that's actually a really interesting thing, is that back in the day, I spent a number of years in the restaurant business on the management side. And, you had these books, American Express or whoever the credit card companies would send you these calendar books where you could write down appointments or bookings and things, sort of like the old way in the salon industry. And the better ones used to have sort of check boxes for the weather. So if there was a holiday that was there, you could go in and say, sunny and what the temperature was. So when you went back and looked at your books, you could say, well, last year for Thanksgiving, it was great and the weather was 80 degrees or whatever the holiday was. So it kind of gave you the opportunity to go in and let me just do this. It gave you the opportunity to go in and figure out what was going to, if weather had any play in what your numbers were, or just in planning overall, which I think is something interesting, that there's not one salon software that I know of that calculates anything to do with weather in terms of specific holidays that might, look at like Mother's Day, right? Mother's Day week could be a busy week in the salon. What if it's an all-out blizzard where you are, which I know in Vancouver Island, you guys don't get that as often as we might get here, but May snow is very few and far between. It doesn't mean it won't happen.
I hope not.
Better not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never actually thought about that for weather being something that you put in your software that way. That would be interesting. For us, yeah, we don't get any snow typically, and there's not usually much chance that we're going to have issues with regards to weather, but it can happen. Definitely not as often. But Chantelle can move one of our vehicles, and we were dropping somebody in.
So snowy. There's like this much snow.
So there you go. So,
I'm so glad that there's this much snow here. There's nothing, which is beautiful. It's actually like 50-something degrees here in New Jersey
57 degrees.
Today, but yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so nice.
So do you want to start off and look at some of these months and start tackling some of this calendar?
Yeah, so here's what I would say is that the calendar itself, it's going to be available on the Salon Movement website. We're trying to create a separate tab within the site itself. So it's the salonmovement.com if you haven't been there yet. And just in resources, I mean, things like images or anything that might be related to these specific holidays and things that come up, or specific releases of products and things like that. We're going to attempt to have a special tab there that'll bring you back to those items that you might be able to download or be able to use. From the calendar perspective, Kurtis and I are working on it this week to where we can make that calendar interactive, so that as events and things come up education-wise, perfect example for any of you that might be going to San Francisco in May with Hair on Stage, really great event. And now they added a separate day, a second day of education with Anna or with Alilon from the UK for 2 different events. So, when things like that pop up last minute and the distributors might get it later, or we might get it later or trickle down, we'll be able to kind of keep you guys in the forefront of what those things are directly from Davines, which is pretty cool. I would say that the calendar is going to be designed for anyone. So we always mention that we have some California salons and some other states that are big in the booth rental side or standalone salons. So the design is set up to be appropriate for anyone, whether you're a big salon, small salon, or, one person shop, so that we want to make sure that it's accessible for everybody. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over the next couple of months. We're going to take you through June. We'll do a part 2 in terms of summer and some of the travel sizes, and then hopefully do a follow-up at the end for the end of the year and to start to plan for that end. But we'll probably kick off with March. What do you guys do at Design House for March? I mean, obviously it's the beginning of all things green and spring, but what happens over there by you?
Yeah, usually our distributor here, we have a leader sale twice a year. So one is in March, one is in July. So I make sure to promote that. A lot of our clients do look forward to it. It doesn't stop them from buying throughout the year. However, it is nice to let people know that there's a little bit of a kickback. So all the leaders are 20% off in March. We also have a lot of people that are traveling at this time of year, going away for spring break with their kids, stuff like that. So we make sure I have a really nice display for the Sue line, our sun protection line. It has UVA and UV blockers in it. So it's really important that people are packing those conditioners in their bag with them. So we have a nice little display, whether it's sand and seashells and sunglasses, whatever you want to do. I've seen some really creative stuff on Instagram. People have had some fun with the food displays. And then online, basically just kind of promoting the start of new hair trends. February is kind of still the January theme, so just making sure we're having some inspiration on some new color ideas for online social media.
Yeah, and March is kind of fun for us because February is kind of the start of spring, really. That's when the cherry blossoms start coming out in Victoria. And so March is really when it starts getting a little bit nicer weather and really get a nice spring feeling. So we definitely can change the look of the window, really play off of that, fresh, people getting ready for summer and getting some highlights and lowlights and kind of fun stuff.
We lost you for you.
Nothing.
We couldn't hear you.
Bueller?
There you go.
Oh, hi.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a bad cell phone commercial. But Anisa is gonna mention some things that are coming out shortly, and one of the things that most of the distributors are getting is something with the new color blondes. So hopefully, as we start to work into the spring, and this is sort of the blueprint for our spring season working into summer, there's some things that we'll be able to share with you guys in terms of what Davines North America has in mind, which is pretty cool. That is a good time to start to think about. I know that from the front desk end with our clients that do highlights and things, it's sort of the time to start to plan. If they're a 12-week highlight is March, is like, what's the summer plan for, if they want to be a little lighter through the summer seasons, it's sort of like your first step to get them on some type of track to move towards that in terms of their booking, which is good. What do you have to add for anything like that?
No, I think people are very over the winter in this part of the world by the late February. So March is like, even though it's still not spring for us yet, totally, they want to do something different. They want to do something new. They want to see something fresh. And we just had the spring fashion week in the city. So March sort of gets the ball rolling on the new trends and what's out there. And it definitely is. People are like ready to move on and do something different. So March is a good month for change.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Here in the U.S. too, I know you guys were fortunate. Sometimes Canada gets some cool releases before we get over here in the States. But for us, March is also the anniversary of the new Essentials line. So we're hoping to do some focusing. And I know we've talked about slow food being part of our calls here and doing some fun things in Salon in terms of tying in the food aspect or the ingredient aspect of the Essentials line, which is pretty cool. So it's important. But, this year we had a very interesting winter here, which I don't know if the groundhog had anything to do with it or what, but, we're really looking forward to the spring and obviously with Sustainable Beauty Month coming up next month, there's just a lot of good things. It's sort of like that first sprout of something green that you see in the ground. It kind of gets everybody sparked to do some really good things. One of the things I'll mention for, you have spring break, as you guys had mentioned, and people traveling and prepping for that, which is good. It's a little early for us to kind of break out the Sue line because people are still kind of getting ready to do anything. A lot of our spring break here now happens more towards April, with Easter being so early. But, one of the things that we had talked about, or Angela and I talked about this morning, was our clients really look forward to our retail displays or our highlighted retail displays. So it's probably one of my favorite times a year to really get things moving, to kind of change over and finally get all the leftover decorations from the holidays that might have been stragglers and start things over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
I think Anisa's trying.
Yeah, and then we get the fun build up towards April, because April is such a big month for Davines, and I think a big month for any salon that's really making a real sustainable difference in the communities. Being Earth Month for Davines, having Earth Day, there's just a lot of sustainability partners out there that are getting geared up for April. So it is the time to really be focusing on final prep for your April events too in March. And so then, because April comes fast. I don't know for you guys, whether or not it feels that way, but it seems like January, and all of a sudden it's April. But
yeah, and I think too, one of the things I'll mention on this call is that we do a rather large Sustainable Beauty Month event. We've had this will be our 5th year. What I would say to anyone else that's going to listen to this, recorded afterwards or live, we're Kurtis and I and Design House and Chantelle and Angela and I as a collective are here to help you with some of the fun things that resonate with our clients. We're encouraging any of you that want to do something a little more interesting for Sustainable Beauty Month this year. Reach out to us. We'll be happy to do a little one-on-one and give you some suggestions and things like that might help. But we can't help you if you don't tell us you need the help. And, I'm hoping this year that I can encourage Design House to do a crazy outdoor event with live music and things like we do here. But even if it's something small, there's some really cool things that we've been doing on the smaller scale that we'll talk about next week when we start to focus on Sustainable Beauty Month as a whole. But don't you'd be surprised what your clients are really into and what they'd be interested in. And we're definitely here to help that. I mean, we want to make sure that, we're able to guide you any way that we can. But it's a really good month. I mean, it's probably, with the exception of the Worldwide Hair Tour when it happens, Sustainable Beauty Month, or it was day and then week and then month, is probably their biggest Davines holiday. Wouldn't you guys say the same?
hey,
Oh, come on.
Hey, Anisa, can you hear us
Hi.
okay?
Yes.
No.
Can you guys hear me okay? Great. Sorry.
yeah, no problem. It's Blab. I think we are having a little bit of some network delay, but it's okay. And if you do have an echo a little bit on your side, it's sometimes a bit tough. But just turn down your volume.
Maybe I try
as
one
you're
more time
talking, and then
because
it
I
doesn't
can't hear you
get weird.
guys.
But can you hear us okay, Anisa?
Now I can for a sec. There's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a delay, but
I
we
don't
just
know.
take a little bit of time in between talking and figure it out.
Okay, great. Well, I
you
think it's
came
better
in at the
now.
right time because now we're talking about April and marketing and how big of a month it is for Davines. Maybe a little bit more than most product lines out there. It's massive, and I love that they just announced that this year is the first one where they're doing Sustainability Month rather than a day and a week that was all the other years.
Right. And I don't know if James spoke about it already, but we are planning on having an internal meeting this week. So we are hoping to have another call with you guys, which will be specifically featuring Sustainable Beauty Month. So a lot more details will come after that meeting. And hopefully we are trying to secure a surprise guest to join the call the next time that we try to feature Sustainable Beauty Month, your hair assistant, and a few of other promotions.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. Hopefully hopefully the call will be next week when we go live from IBS. But we'll keep everybody posted. It's obviously a holiday that Davines takes seriously, and there's a lot of effort behind from I Sustain Beauty to now Sustainable Beauty Month. These are really important things for not just Davines salons like the two of ours to take part in, but we think there's some really easy things that almost every single Davines salon can do to be part of it, even if they're just trying to start to be more sustainable. There's just some great things that we have that we can offer you as as somebody that's on or part of the movement or on the calls. But definitely reach out to us. Now, Anisa, why don't you give everybody a little bit of an idea? What do you do for Davines? And I know you have a couple of very interesting things to tell our callers here.
Sure. So what I do at Davines is trade marketing manager. And to give you a little bit of an idea what that entails is pretty much any marketing promotional items that enter your salon. Think of retail sell signs, any PLPs, shelf talkers. Basically, the marketing team takes production, sales, and the story of Davines and puts it into words so that people can understand the story behind the line or a new product launch. So we're just sort of the storytellers and take components from all the different departments, make it easy for not only the salons and the stylists, but the final consumer to understand and to understand what it is that we are doing, whether it's a product line or if it's their first time just encountering Davines, what makes us different and sets us apart from the rest of the brands that are out there.
That's awesome. I know that there's a few things in terms of product releases besides the typical YHA that we've all been, everybody's been anticipating, your hair assistant. And we've heard a lot and know a lot about it, but there's a few things that you have that you want to tell us about, hopefully, that hopefully you're not typing to tell me to stop talking about them. But
No. I was just saying that I have a really bad echo on my side. I keep hearing myself, and it's very distracting. It's like a trick in your mind. You keep hearing your own
it's really
voice.
distracting. The trick we do is that we just turn down our volume while we're talking, and then so while you're talking, it just you just hear the echo in the background, but just turn down the volume on your computer and then just keep talking. But I know it's distracting.
Okay. So you guys hear it too. You hear your own voices.
Sometimes.
Okay. Sometimes. So yes, we have some exciting news. I know that towards the end of the March, early April, pretty much all salons should have dry texturizer spray and the shimmery mist spray, which, as we all know, is already available in Canada. So yay for that. I feel like I have to say to say that this has been a bit of a disappointment in the terms of the time that it took to launch these two products would be an understatement. I've been personally involved in trying to move and push the project so it gets out to the market as soon as possible. But I don't want to dwell on that. The exciting news is the products are ready. They're amazing. They're going to be available in salons end of March, beginning of April, depending on where your salon is located. So you probably already know a little bit about the products. I know that there have been a few featurings on Instagram or Facebook. They were used during New York Fashion Week last year and early this year in spring. So we know that Joseph DiMaggio worked with both products in all of the shows that he did, and he had only amazing things to say. So we're excited that they're going to be arriving in the salons at a time that the demand will pick up, whether it's prom season or weddings. So we're glad that they're finally going to be arriving. I can certainly go and talk a little bit about the features of the products, but I think you guys already know so much about them because there's been so much talk about them already. But these were both products that were missing on our lineup. So we're very excited to be able to finally introduce them to the market. I know it took a while for them to come out, but we know that they're perfect. I mean, amazing performance. They abide to all of the Davines, not rules, but the ethical and the zero impact project packaging. And it's basically just a great fit of a product for more inside.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. I know that when Kurtis and Chantelle were out by us in October when we filmed the initial video for the movement for the Worldwide Hair Tour, we did our own little modeling shoot with Chantelle and Angela and our staff in our salon. So we got to experience the shimmering mist firsthand, thanks to Chantelle packing them.
Brought a whole
in
case.
our luggage. That's it.
Little smuggler.
But it's nice and it's definitely anticipated. But I think there may be something else that Anisa wants to tell our viewers of something that nobody else has heard of yet. So you heard it here first.
Yes.
The movement of sustainable salons.
Yes. So the other exciting news, and it's still for the more inside line, is that beginning to mid-April, most salons will be receiving the latest product, which is a shine wax. So it's going to be a great addition to the line because the 3 waxes that we have at the moment, none of them fills the need for the shine effect. They're all matte. The hold of the product is going to be medium, light to medium hold. It's a 2 out of 5. James and I were speaking yesterday, and he asked me whether or not this is a little bit similar to Wizard number 10. And as I said to him yesterday, that there, of course, you'll be able to draw similarities, but more inside, it's a unique line. It's its own individual line with its own characteristics. So, yes, I think it does pay homage to sort of like whether it's number 10 or those vintage products like the Brilliantine back in the day. So it's sort of the new vintage. And we're very, very excited for it. So like I said, it's going to arrive to salons early April to mid-April, depending on where the salon is located. But the reviews that we've gotten from the people and the stylists that have used it are amazing. And we're very, very excited to see the product being launched.
We have a lot going on in April, don't we? We're going to have a lot of excitement built around your hair assistants, the new shine wax, texturizing dust. There's a lot of momentum building up here.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And it's an exciting time, especially for Davines, also with your hair assistant launching. So there is a lot of newness in the line and a lot to talk about. So I know that in one of the future calls, we'll spend more time discussing your hair assistant. But for this one, we had more insights to feature and to sort of put a spotlight on. My excitement about the Shine Wax is very strong because I've seen it and I've been able to smuggle one sample for my brother, and I was already obsessed. So I'm excited.
Awesome. I can't wait. I think I love talking about more inside with our clients because I always come back to saying, hence the name More Inside. It's not just a styling product. It doesn't just deliver one result. There's moisturizing properties and hydration and shine, hold, and there's so much more inside the product. And then it's a great opening to your conversation about ethics and values of the company. And it's just a beautiful common thread. I love it.
Absolutely. You're right. And even for the Shine Wax, there's the texture factor to it, and then there's the extra moisturizing factor to it, just like the rest of the products. So it's going to be an amazing product. I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on it and to start hearing feedback about it.
That's good. We can't wait either. I mean, obviously, that's one of the resonating things from our salons is we love our new products. We have really strong product number sales from Design House and the Beehive. And our clients just love when new things come out. They're so interested.
I can think of 5 people that are like already like waiting for that kind of product. That, like you said, there's definitely a need for something like that in the line. So we're super excited for that.
Yeah, and like James was telling me yesterday, and I think this is such a great idea. It's depending on the salon and the layout that you have. I love when I walk into a salon and I look at a product and there's a story behind it, whether it's the way that they're displaying it, where is a POP next to it, or a sample that is sort of luring me in to try it. I think those are all amazing opportunities. And never just put a product on the shelves and wait for clients to reach for it. Draw them in. Whether you put them on different spots around the salons where there's the most amount of traffic that you know that's going to draw attraction, and people are going to reach for it. So most definitely, with the 2 sprays, creating a storyline, whether it is the way that you're displaying them or utilizing the shelf signs that we have provided for it, allowing textures right next to the cash out register so people just are drawn and look at it and say, what is this? I think those are all great ideas. James and I were talking about them, and he says that he enjoys making changes around the salon. And I think that's a brilliant idea. It should always be like that, fully stocked shelves. So, I mean, I would never be the person that picks up the last orange on a shelf. And the same thing goes for a product. When you have shelves that are beautifully stocked, and it just gives you a different perception of the salon, of how well you're doing, how you take care of your clients, or your shelves, of the space. So I think, planogram, it's a huge, and merchandising, it's very, very, very important for the salons.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something that hopefully, as part of the retail component of what we're structuring with the movement, the planograms, I think, are a great idea. We would always say that, working in your business versus on your business, like our last call, a lot of salon owners are just stuck. They're busy, hopefully, and they're trying to work with their clients and things. And sometimes setting up the retail shelves are so secondary that if you gave them a planogram and you had a better understanding of what their retail space looked like, or if they're using the Davines official structured boxes and things like that, if they got the planogram, it's like, listen, don't worry, we've already figured out why this works for other salons. Just set it up, and here's the info, and here's the pan carts. And sometimes it's a breath of fresh air for them that, you're inundated with payroll and clients and booking and staff, that if it can be not to quote some of the as seen on TV things, but if it's a set it and forget it, and they get something from Davines in their quarterly, or in their, people that get their points and things, and here's the setup, it's just so much easier to not have to think sometimes, which is great. I mean, hopefully we can encourage people to be able to use that.
And also, too, when I'm directing my front-end staff to help me out with some things like that, if things come in, I might need that support from the brand to deliver the setup, because as much freedom as I try to give them sometimes to keep their eye on the displays, you don't always have the creative eye or vision to know how to set it up and what sells. So I try to give them free rein in some things, but it really, display helps sell. Marketing for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I think what you guys are doing here is truly amazing, because I know that within tomorrow, Kurtis and James will be sharing the calendar and then putting ideas in there. But, it doesn't have to stop there. If we have people submitting photos of their retail space area, and I think that would be huge help to be able to see what have other salons do, and just go in and take a quick look to see what ideas are out there that sort of could fit with the space that you have as a salon owner. And I've worked many, many summers in salons, and I know that one of my tasks as front desk, whether it was assistant or manager, was to always keep an eye on the shelves. That was my pride and joy. I would always dust them, and you're lucky for me that I enjoyed dusting. But it was one of the things that I always checked first thing in the morning to make sure that there were no holes, no gaps in there, always taking the stock from the back room and making sure that they looked spotless and beautiful. And it's always an amazing attraction to have that visual, pleasing system for the clients.
No, that's true. And, what I would say is that, we're lucky. So March and April, March starting, April, we have a big month. What's great about March and April too is because there's so many built-in things with Sustainable Beauty Month and spring and all those good things. It's a great time to start planning for your May and June. We always in our salon like to call May moms and proms, and we call June dads and grads. May happens to be Women's Health Month nationally. June is Men's Health Month nationally. There's a lot of, besides wedding season and all those things that come up, they're just really two good focal points. I don't know how many people know the stats of their salon and what the percentages are. I'm a metrics guy, so I have the weird numbers about, how many are pet owners and crazy things like that. But, chances are, in terms of moms and proms and dads and grads, they're all really good programs. We'd love to know what some of you other salons out there do in terms of Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a really interesting one because it's not like on the day you have a line of people getting blow dries to go out to dinner. So it's sort of a lead up. So if you wait too long, you kind of miss the holiday. It's also early in May. Father's Day is sort of the same thing. It's kind of, I know it's the middle of June, but we don't have a huge male clientele in our salon, but the ones we do have, it's almost like a cult following in terms of products and things we do. And, they're also very frequent. If you had clients that were gray coverage that are every 6 weeks, we have male clients that are every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So in some respects, you see those male clients more than you see those female clients that are getting color. And we even have some men that are getting color and things like that now through the salon. So it's important not to forget about it. I'm not saying that because I'm a man. I'm just saying that don't forget the dads and the men out there.
Well, we also had one of our stylists win Best Barber in a magazine that's local to us. So hopefully our male clientele will shoot up. Props to Jessica.
That's it. Yeah, she's on the call with us today.
Great. It's a fun time for men's hair right now, and the sculpting is beautiful. Took a while for guys to accept a blow dryer, a little bit of product, and a comb. First, they're like, what? No, and then everybody else is doing it. So like, I need a piece of that. So it's been a fun year and a half in the men's hair trend. I absolutely love men's cutting. So.
Yeah, well, I should probably mention that my hair is brought to you today by the Volume Mousse from the More Inside line, and also the Stronghold hairspray, as you can see. That
you can try.
You could probably shoot that hair and it won't go through, which is great. So, bulletproof hairspray is provided by Davines More Inside. But those are that's a really great point, Chantelle, is that sometimes depending on how your staff is trained in terms of product sales. We're kind of rethinking things in terms of planning for June, in terms of Father's Day, and in terms of Men's Health Month. And we always have this weird thing that you say Father's Day, we have a lot of clients and our male clients that aren't fathers. They're professional men that aren't even married. So by going with the Men's Health Month version for us, winds up working out better because it's not so limiting. But there's products that we know they use. Hairspray, men use hairspray now. I mean, it's not they use a lot of different products, and a lot of our male clients cocktail. Mm-hmm. So for you salons out there that have male clients that you don't think they are willing to buy product, they're going online and they are looking at YouTube videos about these crazy guys that style their hair, and they're buying product from other places. So don't sleep on your male clients. That not only would they buy one, but a lot of times male clients will buy two, especially with the wax and pomade type products. If you can teach them how to cocktail them the right way, you'd be really surprised that they might be your best product buyers, and in some case better than your women.
And men are statistically more loyal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I think there's been a huge shift in the way that male clients, their grooming habits have changed. I mean, they steal their girlfriends or wives' products initially, and then it's just up to the salon stylist to start talking to them about it. I see you do a little time. But I heard that the dry texturizer has been an amazing product in styling men's hair. So don't be afraid to start using dry texturizers on your male clientele. They may look at you and say, "What are you doing with that spray?" But try it on them. Say, "Trust me. Let me just try something. If it doesn't work, I'll wash your hair and we'll start from scratch." And just start with that and see where it goes.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point too. And that's something to talk about in terms of the men's styling products. That might be an interesting thing for June, because men get really particular, right? If they use the old school barbershop product that you could buy in the drugstore for 100 years and they feel like that is what works for their hair, they will, if it says it's discontinued, they will buy a case of it on Amazon and store it to not have to think about the next product. But I like the idea of saying, maybe when we always wash sometimes we wash our men twice when they come in. So once if they have product in, and then once you kind of cut them, whatever the version is, if they're scissor over comb or clipper cuts, you give them a rinse and then you go back and style them. So, the shorter hairs and things like that aren't there. It might be kind of a cool thing to go at it twice in terms of the styling products to get them introduced to more than one thing. We're really good at sampling in our salon in terms of either using the Davines samples or kind of making our own for our female clients to bring home, whether they're straight or curly, and kind of building. But that might be something I'm going to put on my list for the male clients, is to figure out a great way for them to sample some of the tin or pomade based products that Morningside has, because they may not want to have you do it. So Chantelle,
Right.
you do a male client, you style them, they might say, hey, yeah, it looks good, and go home, and they want to cocktail and experiment. So there's probably a cool thing.
The stylists always do it better than them, so they're always like, oh, it looks great, glad I won't be able to recreate this at home. And I go, well, no, you can. It's just tools, knowledge, and practice, right? That's how we all learn. So just go to the dollar store and I buy tiny little jars.
That's what we do.
15 for $1, and then I give them a little sample of the Gettys, send home with a note in the file. They don't have to remember anything. Just remember one or two. And it's been a great seller. I don't give them too much. I give them enough to play with. I always come back for purchase.
Yeah, we do the same thing, and it's worked really well for us, for sure.
Yeah, we also, friends of ours at Amica, which is a blow dryer company and based out of Brooklyn, New York, they make a great blow dryer, great price point and things. And we've talked about them on the calls before. Their professional dryer is great in terms of women's hair and in terms of longer hair, but they actually make a retail-based blow dryer. So it's not the wattage that some of you high-end women would expect to have in your blow drying tools, but they make a little bit of a lower wattage, more of a take-home, and it actually has a graffiti pattern on it. So we've entertained this year of saying for, through May and June, in terms of increasing our guy clientele. We have a lot of guys that blow dry a little more of an eclectic barbershop type haircut versus the old, crew cut type thing, is bringing these graffiti pattern blow dryers in that are super cool just for our male clients, to kind of encourage them to say, you don't have to use that, horrible,
Hot pink.
Yeah. The hot pink drugstore version of the blow dryer, but doing something fun with them. And I may try to encourage Amica to see if we can do something in one of our calls in May and raffle one off, because they are really cool. And it definitely appeals and makes it more accessible to a male client. That's for sure. So sidebar for you guys before we go into the quick version of June. We had talked last week about my friend Neil Ducoff. I hope it looks backwards on my screen, but probably forwards on your screen. This is his book that's for salon and spa owners. It's basically the best guide to salon and spa management that's out. I know I joked last call and said that this is his second edition. He had to rewrite a component a few years ago just on social media, but otherwise the book itself has stood for the last 20 years. So tomorrow, from any of our movement sign-ups and signees and people that are part of it, somebody's going to get one of these sent in the mail. Neil, who's a good friend of mine, he has horrible handwriting, but writes very interesting quotes and things that you're going to take away. So you will get a signed copy of this. You'll get an email from the movement tomorrow. And it really is just a great book. It covers a lot of topics in terms of everything from payroll to retail sales numbers. It's definitely a metrics-based book. So we're pretty fluent in our salon. It's something that's definitely worth a read. But his theory is the no compromise leadership, that in terms of whether you're a standalone salon or whether you're someone that has a larger or medium-sized salon, that don't compromise on what you do or what your thinking is or what the mission is. It's a matter of a team-based buy-in and getting a great staff built around, just around the brand itself, which is so great with a company like Davines, that if that's your product line, I feel like it's such a branded line that if your salon's attached to it, it just can really propel you forward and make great things happen. If you ladies, I know Kurtis is probably paying the hotel tab right now. No, I'm kidding.
Actually, it's been snowing for almost 24 hours, and there's about 10 cars in the driveway, and everybody's out there pushing each other and helping everybody. Everybody's stuck and sliding around. We have an SUV, but it is crazy out there.
That is pretty funny. So I appreciate anybody that's been on the call and been able to deal through the technical difficulties of Blab today. I thought the Mount Washington thing would be the biggest technical difficulty, but you guys have been pretty clear and everything's been good. I think it's more of a software issue. And That's the awesome part of doing anything in beta, is that we're sort of the guinea pig test case for all these cool things that are to come. We will have a calendar up on the movement website. It'll be under resources under a tab. We will be sending somebody a message about this awesome signed book called Fast Forward by Neil Ducoff at Strategies. Definitely want to thank Green Circle. I know they tried to get on a bunch of times, and obviously they're one of our sustainability partners. If you don't know anything about them, you can go to our site as well, thesalonmovement.com, and they're pretty embedded in terms of not only Davines, but the salon industry. We want to thank Anisa for being on the call and releasing Shine Wax first. You heard it here first. Hopefully this is the first of many releases that we're able to do through the movement for people that are signed up. Chantelle, thank you as always.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll be coming to you live next week from the International Beauty Show at the Jacob Javits Center in New York. We have a few cool special guests that'll be with us.
Green Circle will be there.
Green Circle will be there, among others. It'll be our first live since the Worldwide Hair Tour. So it's our first time out of the Davines community into something crazy. Hopefully the service will be better than today with Blab, because it's a little loud at IBS. But we look forward to seeing you guys next week. If you haven't signed up, just catching on, thesalonmovement.com. Follow us on our Facebook group. Definitely sign up. We're doing some great things, and we hope to see you guys again next week.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.